There's some really big things happening. There's some really interesting things happening. And the thing is, to look at really what's going on, we've kind of passed a point of no return in many respects. I mean, much of what the parasites that are running this world, calling themselves leaders, want to do is going to come about. So even if we bring the system down, it's still going to sort of play out to its natural conclusion now. So the best thing I think that we can do is to realize what sort of a battle we're really in here. And this is a psychic battle that we're involved in here. It's a spiritual battle, as I've said so many times. And it's a purification. It's kind of a purification of consciousness in many ways. You've got to look at it that way. They will always say, they, the universal they, will always say that there is opportunity in all crisis. And I think we have to look at things this way as well. There's an opportunity for real spiritual involvement, evolution. There's a real opportunity for us to create the type of world we want to create at the other side of this as well. But I almost think that society is going to split in two. The society that they want to create, the technocratic society that I've been warning people about for so many years, this whole digital control grid, the Internet of Bodies, the Internet of Living Things, which started just as the Internet of Things and social crediting. Now it's the Internet of Living Things, and they're telling you this is what they're doing. But they're going to create this transhumanist world, and it's up to us to be able to survive and get through that. And it's getting to the point that you're going to have to disconnect completely if you want to get through that world that's coming. Because the way they are co-opting everything, they're co-opting the entire digital system. Soon you will very likely need ID in order to even log online. Not just to use their financial system or use their banking system or their transport system or anything like that. You're going to need digital ID in order to even get online, in order to buy anything or do anything. So you're going to have to disconnect from that system completely. This is what I've been saying for years again, that one of the biggest things that this system has done has been to remove us of our life skills. And this is a huge opportunity for us to get those life skills back and to put down our differences with people. I firmly believe that everybody who is awake to what is going on here, whether people are arguing at who to point the finger at and who do we blame and what sort of political steps can we take, personally, I don't think any of it is relevant at this point. I think that what we need to do is realize that all the people who are speaking out against this, we have a soul connection, we have a spiritual connection to everybody who's gone this far. Like, we're almost 2 years into this, like 22 months or something into this. We've got to a point now that we've really got to find that ground. We've really got to unify with each other and see the writing on the wall. We've kind of, like I said, passed the point of no return. So, and like I said, it had to come to this. It had to get to this point, because you've got to a point of spiritual bankruptcy where humans have basically lost their connection to source. They've lost their connection to reality in so many aspects. That's why I said, put down all your stuff with people. Because if they are awake to this scam, then our souls are connected. We're all on the same side. It doesn't matter if we believe different things or have different ideas about things, different ideas about where it's going, different ideas about who they are. Ultimately, we're going to need each other. We're going to need this support through what is coming, because it's going to get pretty weird. Things are most certainly not over yet. Even with all of the rollback that they're doing in places like the UK, they're doing these strategic withdrawals because they're preparing for the next step. And, lull people into this sense of complacency as well, which is, they like to do that sort of thing. So, we've got to prepare, folks. We've got to, and realize, like I said, this is a psychic battle. Everybody who's awake, who's come to this point, I believe their souls chose to come here, to be here for this moment, because this is the spiritual battle that you need. This is the psychic examination that you need. And you wouldn't have come if you weren't strong enough to pass this test. How to get through this, and how to get through this world, how to get through everything that's coming and have no stake in the outcome. Because, a lot of the information we look at, when people get a stake in the outcome, they go into fear, they think all these terrible things are going to happen. They get depressed over it. They want to lock themselves away. What you've got to be able to do is just see life as being truly how awesome it really is. Just the fact that we're here is is awe-inspiring. It is just the fact that I can look outside and see trees and grass and sky, and that I can actually be sitting here having a conversation with someone on the other side of the world who is essentially part of the same consciousness that I belong to, of the collective consciousness of mankind, of the universe, of God, of whatever you want to call it. Awe-inspiring to be alive. Life is a state of constant awe, if you can just allow each second to unfold. And that is the trick to getting through life, is to be able to face uncertainty, to be able to face infinity with no stake in the outcome, to be able to face infinity without flinching. Because you don't know what's coming next. Anything is possible. The only thing that is not possible is that which you believe is not possible. And this is all based on your belief system. And we don't even know a tenth of 1% of what's going on in this universe, ultimately. So, if you can face infinity without flinching, then you can get through any situation. And so that's why I have no stake in the outcome of any of this. I often tell people, belief is the enemy of knowledge, because you're only halfway down the path. You don't know what's coming next. And if you adopt a belief system, then there's going to be all this stuff that you miss out on. Simply because you don't believe it's real. I mean, what about the stuff that exists outside visible light that we could probably even see if we could believe that we can see outside visible light? It's what our science has taught us is real, what our society has taught us is real, and we really have no clue. So you've got to be able to look at the world and look at infinity without flinching. That's how to get through everything. That way nothing surprises you. That way you don't have any fear of anything. It's all just part of the journey. What we came here ultimately to do is die. I mean, that's a given. Why have it? It may be that this is a soul test. It isn't what's most important is how you die. What's most important is the mental state you're in, whether you face that without flinching. Because maybe that's the real journey. Because this life is so short. How come we come here with all this incredible intelligence and all this incredible complexity of human nature, and we only live for 50 or 100 years? It's ridiculous. I mean, this can't be all there is. Perhaps this is simply the exam that you do before the real test, before the real journey starts and the real existence starts. I mean, we don't know. So you've got to be able to face it without flinching, all of it. People look for the answers externally to themselves, and all the answers can be found within. If you want to get religious, even Christ said that. People are looking in the wrong direction. People are afraid to know themselves, really, and that's where the truth lies. That's the only truth you'll ever know, is yourself. People have this whole missensed place of authority, and this they don't believe in themselves. They sort of see someone in a position, oh, he's the principal, or he's got a nicer suit than me, or he's got a desk, or he's got an office, so he must be important. No, he's just like you. He's just a guy, just a dude, It's always fascinated me why people believe in authority and think other people can control what they can do with their lives. Now, I've always believed that it's a lot easier to get forgiveness than permission, so I've just always just gone and done shit, And I like I said, I got kicked out of 3 high schools by the time I was in my 3rd year of high school, because I just argued with the teachers my whole life. I didn't agree with anything they were teaching me. They weren't teaching me about life. They weren't teaching me. They were entraining me. Now, I don't want to be indoctrinated. I don't want to be entrained. You're teaching to be a little cog in the big machine, and you don't have the right to do that. I came here to learn. You're not teaching me, And so I ended up with my own desk outside the principal's office for the last 6 months of my school. And I just thought, what the fuck am I doing here? And I got up and left halfway through my exams and never looked back, became a musician, never looked back. So it's good that people are doing that now. They're finding their souls, they're finding their power, because it's the most terrifying thing for a lot of people, the thought that they actually have power and they may be responsible for their lives. Even like public speaking. Like even having to go and do that and say publicly to this teacher, we're serving you papers or whatever. A lot of people would consider that public speaking. I mean, you're speaking to someone you don't know, trying to assert some form of authority or stand in your power. And it's a very nerve-wracking thing for a lot of people. I'm fortunate as much as I spent a lot of my life as a musician on stage playing guitar. So I'm quite happy standing up there in front of 1,000 people. It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable at all. A little nerve-wracking when I'm the only one speaking, because normally I'm in a band and there's a whole bunch of people playing. I don't even sing, But even when I was in the bands, people used to say, well, you talk better, Max, so we'll get you to be the spokesperson for the best. So I get up there, I'd be the one announcing the next song and rah, 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 and saying we're going to have a break now and all that sort of shit. But I never sang any of the songs. So my life kind of prepared me for public speaking. But I can understand that it's a huge fear in a lot of people. Most people are more afraid of public speaking than they are of death. Be the non-emotional observer, Neo in the Matrix, non-emotional observer. That's what you have to do. That's how to get through what's coming. Walk the path of the warrior. That's the path of the warrior, to be able to face infinity without flinching. And you just deal with things as they come, as you need to do what needs to be done because it's necessary, you know.
We will not comply with the institution's sick illusion. No, it won't.